my live stream lectures. And before I get into this very important lecture, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. You know, my channel will not be where it's at today without all of my supporters. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's very important lecture, which is some items you will need in order to file your personal and business taxes. You know, I've always used I'm certified public accountant, do my personal and business taxes for well over 25 plus years. I've always known to do that. And one of the driving forces of me doing that, you know, although I'm fully retired, but I've always made and generate money under my company, utilizing my licensure as an addiction expert and making money under my company, Parish and Associates Resource Center. And even in retirement, I'm still making money under my company, people. So, which is the beauty of it. Now, you know, since I don't have to get up and go in that workforce anymore, I really have time now to continue to nurture and cultivate my company to generate ongoing streams of income. And this is a document that I got from my CPA, and I use the same document every year. And I tell anybody, especially, you know, if you have a business, I don't care if you got a job in a business, you know, yield to the experts. Go ahead and pay a certified public accountant who holds a credential in accounting, who has gone to school for accounting, who has sat for a credentialing exam and got that certification in accounting from the board, and they have to renew those credentials. They have to answer to a board. They're going to have the software to do all this. They're going to stay abreast of all of the tax laws. And CPAs don't just do taxes throughout the years. A certified public accountant, they do a lot of things when it comes to money, taxes, financial advice, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this document that I keep copies of, and I always use this document to start gathering all of the documents that I know my CPA is going to need, because I've always turned all my stuff over like the latter part of February, because you're waiting on stuff to come in. Some of this stuff on the list may apply, some of it don't, but it's an exclusive list of what he gave me. And for examples, items needed are self-explanatory. You're going to need your W-2s from your jobs. You're going to need your 1099s indicating interest income. You're going to need your 1099 in relation to dividends income. Like I say, not all of this may be applicable for everybody, but I'm going to still go through this list. A lot of this stuff is applicable to me because, like I said, I've always used a CPA to file my personal and business taxes for the past 25 plus years. You are going to need your 1099 brokerage transactions. You're going to need your 1099 in relation to your pensions, your hours, your annuities. You know, just like I got a couple of pensions, so at the end of the year, I get a 1099 in relation to my pensions and hours, hour accounts, and etc. You're going to need if applicable, you're going to need a 1099-G in relation to your tax refunds from the prior year, 1099 in relation to your Social Security. You're going to need your 1099-G in relation to unemployment if you receive any type of unemployment. You're going to need your evidence and documentation of your business income and expenses. You're going to need your investment sales in relation to the price and cost. If you have rental house income, you're going to need the rental house income and expenses. You're going to need your 1098 in relation to your mortgage interest. You're going to need the sales types on a car purchase or home improvement. And one of the things I did for last year is I'm now living on an acre of my property, and I literally bought me a camper that I'm utilizing as my home, my office space. So the money I spent on that camper, I'm going to have the sales types on that purchase, because if I'm utilizing my camper as to provide services, the money I spent on that camper will be a 100% business write-off. You're going to need information on your moving expense, sales of business. You're going to need your 1095 A, B, or C in relation to your health insurance coverage. So now, because of the new laws that came about over the past few years, you now have to provide that copy of that 1095 A, B, or C to show evidence of your health insurance coverage. And by me being a veteran, I just give him a copy of my my veterans card to show that I'm insured. I'm also insured under state government. I make a copy of my insurance card from the state of North Carolina, and then those stakeholders will also mail me my 1095 in relation to evidence and proof of my health insurance. Those are some powerful documents any certified, reputable, certified public accountant is going to need for you to have together to turn in so they can do their magic to file your personal and business taxes. Also, they're going to need evidence of who you are, such as your copy of your social security card, driver's license. That certified public accountant, if they're really good and reputable, you're going to need to produce evidence of your taxes that you filed for the prior year. You know, I'm getting a new CPA because I'm relocated. I've been in the area I'm in going on for about 2 months. So I've already done my due diligence to get a real good referral on a good certified public accountant. I don't already interface with that individual. They already told me what I'm going to need to bring in for them to get down to business, to file my personal and business taxes. This particular CPA want my past 3 prior tax return evidence of me filing my tax, which is no problem because I keep everything. In addition, they're going to need a copy of my driver's license, a copy of my social security cards to show evidence of who you are, people. They're going to need, if applicable, your 1098 tuition payment statement. They're going to need your 1098-T, which is the tuition payment statement. They're going to need a copy of your 1098-E student loan interest, if applicable. They're going to need your K-1, which ties into your partnership or S corporation. They're going to need alimony paid or received, evidence of that. They're going to need evidence of the closing documents for sale of a home. They're going to need evidence of casualty or theft loss, if applicable. They're going to need evidence of your Roth IRA conversion amounts. They're going to need evidence of your W-2G, which is applicable to gambling winnings. Yes, you got to turn that information in too. They're going to need evidence of a 1099-C, which is a canceled debt. They're going to need those documentations. They're going to need your brokerage statements, if applicable. Also, they're going to need any kind of medical things that you paid throughout the year, your doctor, your dentist, your vision, prescription, your medical insurance, mileage on your gas, health insurance. They're going to need evidence of all that when you file your personal and business taxes. Any good file public accountant, they're going to ask for that. I do not, never have, never will. I don't go to those TurboTaxes and all of that, or those places that do your taxes at Walmart. No, I have to get my stuff done by a certified public accountant, because they're going to sit down and explain everything to you if you need consultation throughout the year by someone with a credential into your personal and business taxes. They're there for you. You pay for those services. So it's not like you're going to use that CPA when you found a good one time. You know, when I lived in North Carolina, I had the same CPA for well over 17 years. So that was a powerful resource, because if I had questions throughout the year in relation to my personal taxes, my business taxes, or certain types of tax related questions, I will always be able to consult with my CPA throughout the year, in addition to using the same CPA for 17 years to file my personal and business taxes. Be on this earth long enough, you are going to be audited by Internal Revenue Service. I welcome any audit, because the beauty of using a certified public accountant, they're going to have also electronic copies of your records in relation to the taxes they file. You're going to have electronic copy. You're going to have the hard copy. You're going to have a resource there So audits don't bother me in any shape, form, or fashion, because I already know I'm going to keep thorough documentation. I'm going to align myself with a CPA, people who are expert in doing all of this. Real talk. Also, they may need, let me see. Oh, also they're going to need a any type of contributions that you've done, the donations that you have done throughout the year, rather you donated to a church or any type of organization, etc. They're going to need evidence of that. Also, they may need, if you're utilizing a home office, which my home is my office. So they're going to need for you to document within your home the amount of square footage of your home that you're utilizing as an office. Why? Because a percentage of your power bill will be a tax write-off for business expenses. A percentage of your homeowner's insurance that you pay because you're utilizing a home office will be a business expense. A percentage of your utilities and internet will be a business expense, especially if you are utilizing space within your home to conduct official business. Real talk. So in my scenario, I'm utilizing, I have a home office. So, my property tax that I pay, because my home is paid for, my property tax that I pay at the end of the year, a percentage of that will be a business write-off. Everything that I pay for internet will be a percentage write-off. What I pay for a homeowner's insurance at the end of the year would be a percentage write-off. The money I spend on insurance on my car would be a business write-off, because I have to go meet with stakeholders. I have to interface with stakeholders in relation to the essential functions of my business people. So this is a powerful document that, and like I said, this checkoff sheet that I have from my CPA that I use as a roadmap every year when I begin to sit down and gather my documents. Not all of this stuff on here applies to me, but a lot of it does. And when I gather all of this, and I'm gaining knowledge from my CPA throughout the year, because I did very well on my taxes last year, because when I lived in Florida in the year 2024, and they had those horrible hurricanes that came in, and I was heavily impacted by all of that and suffer a tremendous loss. All of that loss that I experienced in 2024, all of that was a business write-off that helped reduce all of my taxable income, or that helped increase my tax return all the way around. And I had documentation to support my losses. And I tell anybody, it don't matter if you have the best CPA in the world, you still need to have working knowledge of what's going on. You still need to maintain excellent files. You don't need to be the expert in everything. No, let the experts do what they do. Because I don't have time to stay abreast of the tax laws. That's what I'm paying my CPA for. That's what they went to school for. They got the credential in it. They're gonna stay abreast of all of the new tax laws. They ain't got, all I do is, in the money you spend to pay your CPA to do your personal and business taxes, that money you spend is a write-off for the current year. So the money I paid in 2024 to have my taxes done, I produced that to my accountant this year, and that would be a 100% business write-off. And these are some things, tips, and more insight that I know personally by aligning myself with a certified public accountant to do my personal and business taxes for the past 25 plus years, people. And another thing I do, because I'm very strategic and I'm going to do my due diligence, when I pull all of my stuff together for my certified public accountant, I'm not just handing him a glob of paperwork in a box. No, let me break this thing down to you. I have all my stuff organized in specific folders, labeled, everything tally up. I'm gonna have all the documents he needs. I'm gonna have my prior taxes. I have in the beauty of when you are doing your business and personal types, another powerful tip is, so you don't have to try to remember all receipts. I get copies of all of my bank statements, because that bank statements, when I do business transactions and charge and put it on my debit card, and it's a transaction all in those bank statements. And so I have all my different bank statements in separate folders. I'm turning all of my bank statements over to my accountant, all these applicable 1099s and everything he need, you know, in terms of pension, annuities. I'm leaving no stone unturned. Everything organized, in order, labeled in a folder. So when I turn everything over to my CPA neatly in a folder, labeled, all they got to do is do their magic. And, you know, it's no guesswork. It's no back and forth. Because I've had many conversations with my CPAs throughout the years, and a lot of times, some of the horror stories I've been told, like people sometimes hadn't filed taxes, personal taxes, or business taxes in years. When they get audited and getting ready to get in trouble with the Internal Revenue Service, then that's where they want to jump up and try to hire a CPA. Their records are all messed up. They stuff all in a big box, scattered. They have to pay. When everything is so disorganized and in a box, and if the person don't even know what's going on, then if you want to pay a CPA first, they're going to charge you first, number one, to straighten out the mess. They're going to charge you to organize all that doggone paperwork. And then they're going to charge you extra to respond to that notice you got from Internal Revenue Service saying they about to put a garnishment on your wages because you ain't paid back taxes in 10 years. You're going to have to pay that accountant to sort through all of that and be your representative, in addition to filing your taxes and filing taxes that ain't been done in 5 years. You got to pay for that. But if you keep a certified or public accountant in your corner, from a business standpoint, you ain't stressed out about nothing when tight season come. I ain't been stressed out or concerned about no tights time in over 25 plus years, because I've always aligned myself with a certified public accountant. I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to have working knowledge of what's going on with my stuff. But at the same time, I'm going to know enough to know to hire the experts to come in and manage that. So anytime I have been audited, I've been audited plenty of times by Internal Revenue Service. Be on this earth long enough, you're behind going to be audited. It don't even bother me because my stuff's so tight. Whatever the Internal Revenue Service say I need to respond to, stuff so like a well-oiled machine. The issue is addressed within 5 minutes. Real talk. So again, this powerful document that I keep a clear copy of year after year after year, that I got from my certified public accountant, outlining all of the information that he is going to need. Not all of it's applicable to me, but all of it could be applicable to somebody. So I literally go through all of this, and anything that applies to me, I make sure my CPA has it in the box that's going to be so well put together. And then I'm going to fill this out because it's asking tax return checklist for Marie Holiday. I'm going to have my current address, my phone number, my email, in the tax year that it's applicable for. And I literally go down this list and I'm going to check off what applies to me. And if it don't apply to me, I'm going to put on the line so my CPA can see NA, non-applicable. So he won't think I left something out. And I'm going to go down this list. I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. And once I've gotten all of my 1099s and from reference to my annuities and pension, and gotten all my receipts in relation to my revenue under my company, when I've got everything together and organized, and then I turn everything over to my public CPA, and the rest is history. And I have done this process, people, for 25 plus years. This is the roadmap right here. You know, as a businesswoman, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm always thinking, you know, as a businesswoman, even though, you know, I have my company, primary services, I do those DOT evaluations, and I'm a content creator, and I wrote my book under my company. But another service that I provide under my company is I just, when the word get out, when people know I'm so organized and strategic, I've had people throughout my professional career who have paid me just to organize their documents prior to them so they can do the same thing I do, turn it over to a CPA. But when I charge a fee for that, I've done certain jobs with people stuff so messed up, boxes and boxes of all kind of documents, sometimes dating back years, scattered, disorganized. It's mind blowing. There's one particular case I did, just got somebody went into a contractual agreement to organize their mess so they can file their personal and business type, to literally organize the documents. I spent probably 3 weeks, 2 to 3 hours a day for 3 weeks on nothing but organizing this person's stuff. And when I say organizing, that means I'm organizing, putting everything in individual applicable folders, labeling everything, putting it in sequence order from January to December. That takes time to figure this out, filtering through all that paperwork. And again, I go into a contractual agreement prior, when I see the boxes, I give them an estimate once I have to see how many boxes they bring me, and that's going to be the driving force on what your fee going to be in order for me to organize your mess. All I do is organize it. And when I organize it, then they take, if they're wise, they would take all that organization in those documents to a CPA, so a CPA can file their personal and business taxes. Because I have clearly indicated in my contractual agreement for those services, you're strictly hiring me to organize your documents in order for you to file your personal and business taxes. And this is one of the powerful documents that I use, not just to organize my stuff. I'm going to use this powerful document when people hire me to organize their stuff. And that's just a quick, easy way to make another stream of income, especially around tight season. And I'm going to tell you how I got the idea to do that. Because I had a particular CPA, same CPA, when I lived in North Carolina for 17 years. And when she saw how organized I was, she loved doing my taxes. When I brought things to her, everything was so damn organized to the point, all she had to do was plug in the data. And she said, you know what? Do you know you can make money by being an organizer, by organizing people's tax documents and their documentation? Because she said the reason why I can make money off it, because she made so much money when people would bring their mess into her by first organizing the stuff before she can even get to filing the taxes. And when she told me that over 17 plus years ago, a light bulb went off, and she's right. I have made a significant amount of money with my name by marketing that specific services, especially when I lived in North Carolina for 17 years. I made a significant amount of money just by organizing people documentation in order for them to file their personal and business taxes, especially small business owners. I made a killing on organizing their stuff by using this as a roadmap for small business owners. So like I said, you know, there's so many ways. I tell anybody, there are so many ways in this world a person can use their knowledge, their skills, and their talent to generate another flow of income without even leaving your home, people. Seriously, there's so many ways that you can generate another stream of income by using your knowledge, your skills, and your talent. I've been fully retired since September of 2023, people. I'm military retired, I'm state government retired. So I get a couple of pensions, not even counting Social Security. So I've been fully retired from workforce since September of 2023. September of 2026 of this year make 3 full years that I have been fully retired. And I have been continue to make ongoing revenue by using my credentials, knowledge, and skills in retirement without even leaving my home, people. And that's power. If I can do this, anybody do it. Turn your knowledge, skills, talents, and ability into another stream of income outside of your primary job. Because, you know, I had my company, Patterson Social Resource Center, you know, as a licensed clinical addiction expert. I've always, throughout my professional journey as a licensed clinical addiction expert working for state government, I always had my company, Patterson Associates Resource Center, simultaneously while I was in the workforce. I was making money under my company, under my credentials, simultaneously in the workforce as an addiction expert. So when I fully retire, I'm going to still make money utilizing my credential under my company. Real talk. And that's power. And so, like I said again, this is the focus of this topic is preparation to file your personal and business type. To be honest with you, it's something about doing this I have great passion for. I really do. I get into the zone. I love it. I love preparing my personal and business taxes, and I love staying abreast of what needs to be done. I love doing this. This is a passion of mine, and it ties into, to be honest with you, I've always, as far back as I can remember, I've been organized and strategic in everything since I've been 5 years old. I've always been goal focused and organized since I was 5 years old. Going back as far as the age of 5, I always remember reading things. I always remember writing down words. Would be in the car with my parents. Any word I would see, I would write it down. I would be organized. I'm always a thinker all my life. So by me loving this, it doesn't surprise me. So when I had a discussion with one of my particular CPAs that was doing my personal and professional taxes for 17 plus years, when she saw how organized I was, that's when she told me, you know what, you can make money by organizing other people personal and business taxes. And I've done that off and on for the past 17, 18 years. I don't say yes to everybody because before I give them a quote, they first have to meet with me. I either meet with them and I have to take a look at their mess. If I'm seeing boxes and boxes of mess, I'm not taking that job because it becomes too much of a headache. Now, if it's 2 or 3 boxes of mess, I'll go ahead and go into a contract with them. But if it's too much, and if the box is too big, and it's too much of a mess, I tell them I decline to move any further because it would suck up too much of my time, and you probably wouldn't be able to afford, because depending on the complexity of what's going on in the volume of the documents in the boxes, that's going to be the driving force on what that fee is. But I also look at how much time would it take from my meditation and my prayer and my peace, and that's going to be the driving force on whether or not I move into that contractual agreement to organize the documents. Real talk. So again, share this information in terms of needed documents that anybody would need to prepare for their personal and business taxes. And I'm going to stress this again. Go ahead and hire the experts, a certified public accountant, to file your personal and business taxes, especially when you're dealing with a lot of other those different your pension and your annuities and revenue from in expenses from your business and your personal taxes and W-2s and 1099s and all that other stuff. Go and pay the experts, because the money you pay them is going to be a write-off for the next year. Real talk. So again, that's all I have. Simplify, simple fidelis, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.